Hi everyone, today we are taking a look at World of Kings and Ideon Corridor in adventure mode. For this dungeon we run it with 15 or 14 people because it is a easier difficulty than if you run it with more. It bumps up the level of difficulty. Plus for this we only run it with one tank because there are no tank stacks and that leaves more room for DPS and heals. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the markers here. Most of this raid, you're going to tank the boss at the yellow moon and orange diamond. After the first set of pillars, the tank will move the boss back to the center of the room where this marker is basically right underneath him right now. After the adds appear in the center, you're going to slowly move the boss back over to the moon and diamond markers. After the second pillar, you're going to move the boss over to this white marker if you're the tank. This is where you're going to finish out the remainder of the fight. If you are a DPS or healer, you're going to start off at this white marker here. Then before 70% and 35%, healers and DPS will move over to the green marker. At the end, half of the DPS will go to the number 1 marker and the other half will go to the number 2. During the middle phase, when the tank takes the boss to the center, DPS and heals will also move to the center with the tank. Here's the view of the same markers from the other direction, so you can see we're by those staircase that kind of ends. This is off to the left side of the raid area when you're coming inside the zone. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to have the tank pull the boss back to the orange marker where we're starting. So I'm going to go forward and I'm just going to roll back and pull the boss over to where this marker is. Melee, be careful to avoid this yellow circle on the tank, and then just kind of make sure that if you're the tank, you're aligning the boss up with that green marker behind you. I kind of use the grid lines on the floor, but you want it kind of centered on that section where I am now because it will block the attack when the DPS hides on the green square during the pillar phase. Now move out for those, and because I want to keep the boss in the same section, I just kind of scoot in between those swirling blades to get back so the boss doesn't move. If you are DPS, you're going to be, at least range DPS, you're going to be standing on the purple marker in the back just to avoid getting this yellow line over the green square. So you're going to direct it towards that purple marker the way it is now, and then move over and then move back to the green, or the purple marker in the back. The basic idea is we don't want those line attacks hitting towards that green square when it's the pillar phase at 70%. Okay, at this point we're just going to continue to DPS and avoid any of the yellow mechanics until you get to around 72% or something. And what I try to do is I try to move off to the side of the boss for tanking so that I'm a little closer to the green square without moving this boss. And as we get towards 70%, the DPS in the back are going to want to move over to the green square. Now stay on purple at this point because the line is going to come up next and we really want that line directed over there. Now everyone will move to the green square and then we will be all set. So they just moved out of the way, but we're going to all need to be at the green square at the 70%. And I'm starting to move around because the pillar is going to spawn between us. And I want to be close to that pillar. Now the boss is still going to attack. Don't move yet. See, when he stops moving, then as a tank, I can move and get behind the pillar. It's a little difficult. Just slide and do your best. If you need to, use your shields and the quantum shield or the other shield, and to avoid dying during that phase. Now I'm going to move to the center. Usually we have a marker here. Sometimes this time we don't. Kind of where that little rough patch in the ground is. I move him to the center. Everybody stack on top of each other so these adds will come to us. Don't run after the adds. They will come to us. Group them all together and kill them all. As a tank, I just move the boss over a little bit to move them out of the way, just so I don't end up in the puddles. And at that point, you want the range DPS to move out a little so they're not getting hit by these puddles. With these purple lines, just spread them out so you're not over the group. Now, normally in normal mode, if we have enough DPS, we'd move back to that starting orange marker. However, in adventure, the hit points of the boss are much higher. So we're going to stay in the center because we're going to get another add phase before the next set of pillars. So stay in the middle for this part. We need to, at least for now. And avoid, again, just avoid these yellow AoEs, the lines and the others. So there's no special positioning for this, just be careful. Now, as the you'll see these purple lines, again, move out so you're not overlapping those. You can probably take one, but we try to move them off of everybody. So you don't have to take any of them, unless you're the person with the line. Now, these yellow circles in the background that appear around the outside, that's the add phase. So make sure that you're stacking on top of the boss, all the DPS, so that, again, the adds come to you. There is a timer on the adds, and if you don't kill them fast enough, it will wipe the raid. So it's important to kind of group all those adds together quickly and then AoE them. Now, I'm going to start to move the boss back a little once these lines clear. And just make sure, again, if you're DPS, you should be targeting the adds, not the boss at this point. Now I'm going to move the boss back to the marker because at 35%, we need to be back in position with the pillar. So here I'm kind of lining it up so it's centered on that line. And we're going to have the DPS go back to the purple because we're probably going to get another yellow line before 35%. So we need to make sure we're out of the way. Now we did time it a little off, so DPS is going to have to move. Once the boss stops hitting me, I can then move out of the way and get behind the pillar. So once his animation for the sword attack stop, then I can move. Now at this point, we're going to move kind of over to get to position ourselves in front of the stairs. Now DPS, we have it split up into two groups. One group will go to number 1 and one will go to number 2. It's on either side of the stairs. And for the tank, we don't have the numbers for this particular one, but they go to either side of the stairs. And the tank will position in the middle. The reason is that if that yellow line goes towards the DPS, we want at least half of the raid to still be able to DPS without having to try and maneuver out of the way. So here, just again, try to avoid these. The mechanics at this point get really crazy. There's going to be adds, which you can see here. We want just switch to the adds. Don't DPS the boss at this point. And you're going to have adds. You're going to have the yellow AoEs that you're dodging. You're going to end up with purple lines as well. And it's just really crazy. So here, I'm just trying to keep the boss out of the puddle and kind of centered in this area so that I don't want to move him too much because any melee is going to have a difficult time following the boss. So here again, if you have purple lines at this point, it's probably just better to quantum shield and just DPS through it. If you don't have the purple lines, it's probably going to be impossible for you to get out of all of it. So quantum shield again is the best way to get through this last section. And just avoid these blue puddles as much as you possibly can and continue to DPS the boss. There's another round of these. It's kind of hard to get out of some of these lines sometimes. Again, I'm a little too far out, but I was trying not to get hit by those yellow AoE things. And then we're just going to continue. Here's the lines again. So shield if you can. You can see the little shell. I don't have quantum shield. I have the other shield. I just hit that usually to avoid dying during this. And horse, anything you can to avoid dying through this section, because this section is really the most difficult part of the raid. Try not to kill people if you've got the tank AoE. And again, adds, here we've got the adds. It's very easy to continue to DPS the boss and ignore the adds and then die because you didn't kill the adds fast enough. So when the adds appear, it's important to switch over to the adds and kill them as quickly as possible before going back to the boss to DPS the boss. So you can see we just killed the adds. There's the purple puddles or the blue puddles in the back. And then we're going to continue to DPS the boss. Purple lines, again, just shield. I use my horse, whatever you can to survive that. And hopefully you will get through the end of this raid. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this was helpful to you to understand positioning and how to go about doing the adventure version. It is much more difficult than normal, but hopefully you'll be able to get through this, and thank you so much for watching.